I was dead, and yet I stood there, staring at my own lifeless body on the sand. Body. I had just pulled myself out of the water, gasping for air and spitting out salt water, trying to steady myself against the relentless waves. The Gulf had been rough the past few days, but I had been body surfing like I always did. It was second nature to me. I had lived on this beach my whole life. The water was my home, my playground, my sanctuary. Until now. I didn't remember how I made it to shore. One moment I was battling the current, and the next I was sprawled on the sand, dazed and disoriented. As I shook the sand from my hair and adjusted my swim trunks, something felt off. I glanced around, expecting the usual beachgoers, maybe a few chuckles from my neighbors who had seen me wipe out, but no one was looking at me. Instead, they were running towards something else. Someone had been pulled from the water. My heart clenched as I sprinted toward the scene, my instincts screaming at me to help. Maybe I could perform CPR, but as I neared the crowd, my breath hitched. My wife, Karen, was sobbing hysterically, bent over a lifeless body, our friends struggling to pull her away. My stomach knotted. Who was she crying over like that? Then I saw him. The blood drained from my face as I locked eyes with my own vacant, unseeing stare. I was looking at me, my drowned body lying limp on the shore. The world tilted. Time froze. If that was me, then what was I now? My hands trembled as I looked down at myself, expecting to see the familiar middle-aged, out-of-shape body I had resigned myself to over the years. But what I saw was a stranger. My stomach was flat. My arms were toned. My legs strong. My body was young, at least 20 years younger. The realization hit me like another wave crashing over my head. Jesus, I had no business being in that water. For a moment I stood there, deaf, dumb, and dumber, unable to comprehend what had just happened. Karen had always believed in reincarnation, but I had scoffed at the idea. I was an engineer. I trusted logic, science, things that could be measured and explained. But this defied everything I thought I knew. The chaos around my body pulled me from my thoughts, the lifeguards, the paramedics, the hushed voices, the realization that I couldn't go to Karen. Every fiber of my being ached to comfort her, to tell her I was okay. But I wasn't. How could I explain this? A young man approaching his widow just hours after her husband drowned. It would be insane. Then, a hand on my arm, a familiar voice. "Are you okay, Tom?" I turned sharply. Judy, one of Karen's friends. She knew me. No, she knew him. Tom. My new name. My new life. My new prison. I forced a weak smile. Yeah. I think I just need to get out of here for a bit. Judy's eyes glimmered behind her sunglasses, her lips curving into a knowing smile. Let me walk you home. Home. Where was that now? As she led me to an upscale beachfront apartment, my mind raced. Who was Tom? And why did I get a second chance in his body? When I stepped inside, the answers started falling into place. His wallet, his phone, his keys, his entire life, waiting to be picked up where he left off. And as I looked into the mirror, at the face of a man I didn't know but somehow had become, only one thought echoed in my mind. What the hell happens now? I had no idea what I was about to uncover, and I wasn't sure I wanted to. But curiosity won. Taking a deep breath, I clicked on the messages. Most were from someone named KK. Funny, those were Karen's initials. Coincidence? Maybe. The texts were flirty, but I couldn't tell if it was an affair or harmless teasing. Digging deeper, I found pictures. Tom, my neighbor, had plenty of shots of KK at the beach. Different days, different bikinis. But something was missing. Selfies. Karen loved taking them. If she was really involved, why weren't there any? Scanning the messages again, it became clear. Tom was obsessed with her, but she wasn't cheating, just enjoying the attention without shutting him down. I needed answers. Stepping outside, I found Karen in the garden. Her expression hardened when she saw me. "Tom, what are you doing here?" she asked, defensive. "I just wanted to check on you," I said. Tears welled in her eyes. "Rick is dead. Things will never be okay again." Instinct took over. I pulled her into an embrace. She resisted at first, but then melted into my arms. I should have left it at that, but I wanted more. I wanted her back, but the truth hit me harder than any wave. "There's no us, Tom," she said, eyes full of regret. "Everything we did was for Rick. It was his fantasy. I was giving him that for his birthday, but he didn't live to see it. It was never about us." I refused to believe it. I pursued her, convinced I could change her mind. And eventually, I did. 2 years of persistence, and Karen married me. Again. The beach ceremony was perfect, just like the first time. But I knew deep down, she had fallen for Tom, not me. Rick's shadow still lingered. Our honeymoon in Hawaii was a dream. Surfing, laughing, living. On the third day, Karen sat on the shore, waving at me. I smiled, caught the next wave, and jumped to my feet. That's the last thing I remember. Moments. Later, I woke up on the beach, coughing up seawater. Dazed, I looked around, then froze. Karen was running down the shore, screaming. A lifeguard performed CPR on someone. I turned my head and saw the body. Tom's body. I looked down at myself. Oh, God, here we go again.